I'm Carolyn, I'm 73 and I'm lots of things. Aged 8, even from the age of 3 years old, I knew my gender identity wasn't aligned with my gender presentation, but I was a boy, troubled, confused and lost. Nothing would change, nothing could change, condemned. Make the best of it, I told myself. How often would I repeat that over the years? Age 17, so make the best of it I did. Through secondary school, rugby, boxing, soccer, cricket and fist fighting, so as not to appear a sissy. No one would ever guess my darkest secret. Music was a brief distraction, hammering my drums with an undue and unwarranted force, a punk drummer in musical terms if not dress. I was struggling mentally, so I sought treatment. Strapped to a wooden chair by NHS doctors, I was electrocuted to make me associate pain with my desires. It's called aversion and conversion therapy, but it was barbaric and, as time would show, ineffective. Changes were needed. Age 19, first day at teacher training college. I'd left school at 16 to work for a plastering and tiling contractor, on site and in the office. An ability to carry 2 50-kilogram bags of cement, one on each shoulder, impressed my workmates but didn't help my mental health. I needed to change and applied to train to be a primary teacher. My studies were in mathematics and divinity, and I was asked to help at a local secondary school who were short of maths teachers. By 26, I was head of a mathematics department, then deputy head and acting head, and at 37 was appointed the then youngest secondary head of a comprehensive school in Lancashire. Having achieved BA and MSc, I had made up for my lack of A-levels. I continued to work hard and fill my time to try to avoid the horrors of my dreams. 1985 and 2002, my first and final speech days as head teacher. A job I loved despite the difficulties, particularly when I was suspended from my job as my gender issues were publicised in national newspapers and local media. Without my knowledge or permission, photos on my doorstep and rumours were treated publicly as fact. After a disciplinary hearing rejected all charges against me, I returned to school and led staff, pupils and community to continuing success. I'd sought medical help throughout the period of my headship without anyone else's knowledge, but mental and emotional pressure built up, and in 2002 the advised way to help me was to align my gender presentation to my gender identity. Why didn't they tell me that earlier? Leaving my headship, I did just that, and continued to work for the local education authority, copyright licensing agency, office manager for a member of parliament, etc. Productive and with means to address my underlying issues and no excuses not to do so, my journey continued. Coping was much easier despite the obvious difficulties. Making a gender change resulted in even more national and local media publicity, again without my permission or input. I just wanted a quiet life, allowing me to try to repair the damage I'd inflicted on myself. My family and friends were helpful after my decision was taken, but they missed the me they had thought they knew. In 2015, I was asked by Stonewall to attend London Pride and speak to young people alongside Evan Davis and Ruth Hunt. That began my involvement in publicising equality, diversity and inclusion issues through presentations and writing. I'm not defined by my gender background, but I won't deny it. Having been asked to speak at a local Transgender Day of Remembrance event, I was surprised to be told at the end that a reporter had been present. For the first time, I engaged with the journalist, who was excellent, and I gave permission for photographs and details to be used. A front page and double page inside spread was followed a couple of days later with the most moving comments from former students and staff, again spread across 2 inside pages. I didn't just survive, I succeeded. Life was now so much better than the suicide I had contemplated for so many years. What a waste that would have been. All my life I'd hated the self I saw and felt myself to be. Others benefited by my seeming generosity and charity. However, their praise and accolades hurt me more because they didn't know the real me. Even holidays couldn't be enjoyable, and I tried to fill them all with work. Post 2002, my views started to change, and my first ever enjoyable holiday was in 2016, age 69, when I shared a Route 66 road trip in America with a friend. We had known each other as teenagers years earlier and reconnected with the now more comfortable me at a church reunion in 2012. 2 years ago, I was stunned to be asked to be one of the local role models for International Women's Day Festival working with schools. I've always said that I demand respect and acceptance as a human being, but request respect and acceptance as a woman. Having been the only role model to be then invited to speak at the evaluation session, I express publicly my humble thanks for that respect and acceptance being shown so clearly. Again, last year, I was privileged to be invited once more, and I will be taking part again this year. I've never wanted possessions, and even now only have a few physical items which matter to me. This corner shows almost all of them. A certificate of a Divisional Commander's Commendation for my voluntary work with Lancashire Constabulary, an enhanced stylised photo taken by a friend, our Route 66 road trip recorded in a hard copy book, my Amazon Echo to play a wide, eclectic and Catholic range of music, and my statue by Ophelia Gordon Bell. Purchased that from Heaton Cooper Gallery in Grasmere. The piece is called The Wave and is thought to be a metaphor for every woman's ambivalence as her children launch into their independent lives, striking the balance between the desire to protect and yet also to promote, to nurture and yet to expose to new experiences. For me, it shows the young boy I was and the woman I've become. I'm not a label. I have many aspects of which my trans history is only one. This is essential to me, certainly, but why should it matter to anyone else how I live, how I look, or who I love? None of us can claim any responsibility for how we're born. I've no credit and no blame. However, what we do with our lives is up to us. Of all 7 billion unique people on our planet, you are the best you there is. No one can be a better you than you. Your responsibility is simply to be the best you can be. And remember, as well as being unique, we share 99.999% of identical DNA with everyone else. What joins us together is much more than what keeps us apart. Like islands in the sea, we're joined to every other. We can't always see it because of the water or because we choose not to look. But our actions do affect others. Be yourself, but remember, you have choices. Be kind to all, including yourself. Learn to like yourself more and make sure you're the best you can be. Your identity is yours and the identity of others belongs to them. Respect both. You don't have to understand, you only have to accept. You're fortunate that there is support and like-minded people around, but it's your life. Ask for support if you need it. There's no shame in that. It's better and easier now than in my day. I didn't say easy, but it is easier. The price of being yourself is still sometimes costly, but the value of being yourself is immense. Be yourself and show those parts of that self when and if you are ready. But please, you're not wrong. Whether cis, heterosexual, or LGBTQIA2S+, you're normal. You're natural. You are you. I'm Carolyn. I'm 73. And I'm me. Thank you for listening.